Every retirement calculator promises financial freedom, a golden age of leisure. It's a beautiful lie. The very success of these traditional models has created a systemic fragility, a house of cards ready to tumble. You've pictured it, haven't you? That final day at work, the handshake, the quiet drive home, knowing you're finally done. Then, the panic sets in. The numbers just don't add up, and that dream feels further away than ever. For decades, the path to retirement was clear. Work for 40 years, save diligently, and live off your pension and investments. But the ground beneath that path has shifted dramatically, leaving millions walking into an economic minefield. The cornerstone of early retirement, often called FIRE, is surprisingly simple. Calculate your annual spending, then multiply that by 25. This 25x figure is your magical retirement number. This 25x rule, derived from the 4% safe withdrawal rate, suggests you can live indefinitely on 4% of your portfolio each year without running out of money. Sounds great, right? But achieving this number requires a savings rate that most people find absolutely staggering. Let's meet Amelia. She's a dedicated librarian in Cedar Creek, earning a respectable $55,000 a year. Amelia dreams of early retirement by 50. Her current annual expenses are $40,000. This means she needs a nest egg of exactly $1 million, a daunting sum for many. To hit that $1 million target in 20 years, assuming an 8% annual return, Amelia needs to save about $1,700 every single month. That's over 37% of her gross income. For someone earning $55,000, saving $1,700 a month after taxes, rent, food, and life's necessities is incredibly difficult. This is where the dream starts to fray for most people. The savings rate is the ultimate lever in this equation. The higher your savings rate, the faster you reach your number. But it often demands sacrifices that feel out of reach. This is where the various flavors of FIRE come in, often presented as distinct strategies, but I see them as different costumes for the same underlying equation. First, there's lean FIRE, where you drastically cut expenses, aiming for a much smaller retirement number. Think extreme frugality. This means living on $20,000 to $30,000 a year. Then we have fat FIRE, the opposite end of the spectrum. These folks aim for a luxurious retirement, often needing $100,000 or more annually, requiring a multi-million-dollar portfolio. Chubby FIRE is the comfortable middle ground, targeting $50,000 to $80,000 in annual expenses. It's a balance between frugality and comfort, but still a hefty savings goal. Coast FIRE means saving enough early on that your investments grow without further contributions to reach your retirement goal. You coast to the finish line. Barista FIRE involves working part-time in retirement for health benefits or supplemental income. Think of it as a gradual off-ramp from full-time work. These are all just variations on the theme, manipulating either the spending variable or the time variable in the 25x equation. They don't change the fundamental math. The real problem isn't which costume you wear, but whether the stage itself is collapsing. We're talking about structural economic shifts that make these numbers far harder to hit than they used to be. Let's pivot to strategies that require more fundamental shifts, not just tweaks to your budget. Geo-arbitrage, for example, is about moving to a location with a lower cost of living. Consider Marcus, our weary corporate llama. If he moved from high-cost Juniper City, where he pays $2,500 a month in rent, to a lower-cost locale, where rent is $1,000, that's an immediate $18,000 annual savings. This directly reduces his required retirement number by $450,000, a massive impact without earning a single extra dollar. Real estate, specifically rental properties, is another avenue. Generating passive income can significantly bolster your financial independence, but it's far from passive in the beginning. Dr. Vivian Thorne, a brilliant surgeon in Metropolis, currently earns $300,000 a year. She's invested in 2 rental properties, bringing in an extra $3,000 a month after expenses. That's $36,000 annually, which directly reduces the principal she needs to accumulate in her investment portfolio by $900,000. This is how the wealthy accelerate their timelines. Another powerful but often overlooked strategy involves maximizing government-sponsored retirement accounts like 401ks and IRAs. But some accounts offer even more flexibility. The 457B plan, for instance, often allows withdrawals without penalty upon separation from service, regardless of age. This is a crucial loophole for early retirees in public service. Similarly, military pensions, though rare, provide a guaranteed income stream, dramatically lowering the amount needed from investments. These aren't just savings, they're structural advantages. Now, let's talk about the plumbing problem. You've accumulated your nest egg, but how do you access it before age 59 and a half without incurring hefty penalties? The IRS typically imposes a 10% early withdrawal penalty on retirement accounts. This can decimate your carefully planned finances. But there are ways around it. One method is the Rule 72T, or substantially equal periodic payments. This allows you to take fixed withdrawals from your IRA without penalty, but it's complex and inflexible. A more popular strategy for early retirees is the Roth conversion ladder. You convert pre-tax retirement funds to a Roth IRA, pay taxes on the conversion, and then, after 5 years, withdraw the converted amount, tax and penalty-free. This creates a staggered income stream, allowing you to access your funds gradually. It requires careful planning and a 5-year buffer before you truly need the money. And don't forget direct Roth contributions. Any money you put into a Roth IRA can be withdrawn tax and penalty-free at any time, as long as it's the principal, not the earnings. These access strategies are critical. Without them, your early retirement nest egg is essentially locked away, creating a golden cage instead of freedom. Understanding them is your key. But there's a monster lurking under the bed of early retirement, a financial black hole that can swallow even the most meticulously planned nest eggs: healthcare. Before Medicare kicks in at 65, early retirees face a terrifying prospect: paying for health insurance entirely out of pocket. This can easily run into thousands of dollars a month. The Affordable Care Act offers subsidies, but there's a brutal income cliff. If your modified adjusted gross income, or MAGI, goes even $1 above 400% of the federal poverty level, you lose all your subsidies. For a single person in 2024, that cliff is around $60,240. Earning $60,241 means your $500 monthly premium might jump to $2,000. This is the health insurance cliff, and it can derail early retirement plans completely. It forces retirees to carefully manage their income, sometimes even limiting withdrawals. Dr. Vivian Thorne, with her substantial investment income, faces this head-on. She must strategically manage her capital gains and Roth conversions to stay below this MAGI threshold. For someone like Amelia, whose income might hover near the poverty line in early retirement, the subsidies are a lifesaver. But any unexpected income could be catastrophic. This is a critical, often ignored variable that can completely invalidate your 25x calculation. Your retirement number isn't fixed. It's heavily influenced by these external factors. Now, let's revisit the sacred cow of early retirement, the 4% rule. It originated from the Trinity study in 1998, which suggested a 4% withdrawal rate had a high success rate over 30 years. The study was revolutionary, but it had limitations. It assumed a fixed withdrawal amount, a 30-year retirement horizon, and was based on historical market data that might not repeat. Here's where sequence of returns risk comes in. Imagine retiring right before a major market downturn. Your portfolio takes a huge hit just as you start withdrawing from it. This early depletion can permanently impair your portfolio's ability to recover, even if the market eventually rebounds. It's a risk that the original 4% rule didn't fully account for. Researchers like Dr. Wade Pfau have argued that for longer retirement horizons, or in times of low expected returns, a 3.5% or even 3% withdrawal rate might be safer. This seemingly small change from 4% to 3.5% has massive implications. If Amelia needs $40,000 per year, a 3.5% rule means she now needs $1,142,857, not $1 million. That's an extra $142,857 she needs to save. It's a staggering difference, and a clear example of how outdated assumptions can cost you hundreds of thousands of dollars. This isn't to say early retirement is impossible. It simply means the old maps are no longer reliable. You need a new compass and a deeper understanding of the terrain. So where do our three characters stand in this shifting landscape? Amelia, our librarian, realized early on the difficulty of traditional fire. She embraced barista fire, cutting her hours to part-time at 55. Supplementing her income and keeping her health benefits. This allowed her to avoid the health insurance cliff entirely, and her reduced spending meant her initial nest egg of $800,000, though less than her original target, was sufficient. Marcus, our corporate llama, made a radical change. He geo-arbitraged, moving to a small town in the Midwest where his $120,000 nest egg, combined with a part-time remote consulting job, became his lifeline. He learned the Roth conversion ladder, meticulously planning his income to stay below the healthcare subsidy cliff. His forced frugality became a strategic advantage. Dr. Vivian Thorne, with her substantial wealth, still navigated the health insurance cliff. Her strategy involved strategic charitable donations and careful tax loss harvesting to manage her magi. She retired comfortably at 52 with a portfolio of $4 million. But even for her, ignoring the nuances of the system would have meant significant, unnecessary costs. The future of retirement isn't about magical numbers or one-size-fits-all solutions. It's about adapting, understanding the hidden traps, and creating a personalized strategy. Your actionable step this week? Find out your current modified adjusted gross income. Then research the federal poverty level for your household size and calculate that 400% cliff. Knowing that number is your first defense against unforeseen costs. It's not about fear, it's about preparation. Don't let